Okay, so legal affairs of Donald Trump. It's like, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of inescapable.
But I gotta be honest, I feel like I'm missing something.
Like what?
Like every time I try to get into it, it feels like a giant tangled mess.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And I get the feeling that there's a distinction, like some crucial difference I'm not grasping, you know?
I think I see what you mean.
Thankfully, we've got an expert here, right? Someone who can like untangle all of this for me and hopefully, for everyone listening.
I'll certainly try my best.
So let's dive into the deep end, huh? Legal affairs of Donald Trump. What does that even really mean?
It's actually, well, the phrase itself can refer to two very, very distinct areas.
Okay, so that's probably what's tripping me up then. Two separate things, but we use the same phrase.
Right, and those often get lumped together, which I think causes a lot of the confusion.
All right, so can you break that down for us? Like, what are those two branches and what makes them so different?
Okay, so think of it this way. You've got one side, which is all of Trump's personal and business dealings.
Okay, so like his companies?
Exactly. So anything from his real estate ventures to, the way his companies operate, even allegations about his personal conduct, essentially. This is the realm of like Citizen Trump and his legal battles.
Okay, that makes sense. So then what's on the other side of that coin?
That would be the legal controversies and implications that stem specifically from his time as president.
Oh, okay.
So these are issues that relate directly to his actions and decisions while he was in office, things like potential abuses of power, the claims about election interference, even the whole thing with the classified documents, that sort of thing.
So it's not just business versus politics. It's like recognizing that the law itself, like the playing field, changes drastically when we're talking about a private citizen versus the president of the United States.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's not just semantics. Like there are fundamental differences in how the law operates in these two spheres.
So give us some examples. Like, how does the law treat these two roles differently?
Okay, so let's take something simple. A regular citizen, they can be sued or prosecuted relatively easily, right? But a sitting president, they have certain immunities.
Like what?
Well, things like executive privilege that limits access to information or executive immunity, which can make it much harder to sue them while they're in office.
Whoa. Okay, so it's like stepping into a whole other legal dimension when someone becomes president.
You could say that.
Are there other examples of how the law treats these roles differently?
Yeah, think about the standards of evidence required, right? In a normal court case, a preponderance of the evidence is often enough for a civil claim, while a criminal case needs proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Hmm.
But when you're dealing with the president, things get, well, a lot murkier.
Yeah.
Like with impeachment, that's a political process, not a purely legal one. So the standards and the consequences, they're completely distinct from a typical criminal trial.
Man, this is really eye-opening.
It's complicated stuff.
So basically, when we hear legal affairs of Donald Trump, we need to be asking, are we talking about Citizen Trump or President Trump? Because the legal rules and the stakes, they're totally different.
Exactly. And that's key to understanding the news coverage, the analysis, anything you hear about legal issues involving him.
It's like you've given us a decoder ring for this whole crazy, complicated landscape.
I hope so.
So I guess knowing all this, how should we, as engaged citizens who want to, be informed, how should we be approaching these news stories or the analysis about Trump and all these legal matters?
That's the million-dollar question, right? I'd say consider the source. Who's saying what, and what are their biases? Look at the specific allegations. Are they focusing on his business dealings or his actions as president? And from there, you can start to critically evaluate the information and form your own informed opinions.
This has been incredibly helpful. I feel like I've got a much clearer grasp on this whole thing. Thanks so much for shedding light on all of this.
You're very welcome.
And for our listeners, hopefully this gives you a new lens, right? A new way to look at all these ongoing discussions about Trump and his legal stuff. Keep asking those critical questions. And until next time, keep diving deep.
Keep diving.